3. Psychological mechanism. The placebo effect is thought to work through various psychological mechanisms, including conditioning. Previous experiences with effective treatments can lead to positive expectations for future treatments. Endorphin release. Believing in the effectiveness of a treatment may trigger the brain to release endorphins or other chemicals that help relieve pain or improve mood. Reduced anxiety. When people believe they are being treated, their anxiety may decrease, which can also lead to an improvement in symptoms. 4. Clinical trials. The placebo effect is particularly important in clinical trials. Researchers often use placebo groups to compare the effects of a new treatment against an inactive substance. This helps them determine whether the treatment itself is effective or if improvements are simply due to the placebo effect. Example of the placebo effect. To illustrate the placebo effect, let's look at a hypothetical scenario. Scenario: a study on pain relief. 1. Research setup. A group of researchers wants to test a new pain medication. To do this, they set up a clinical trial with 2 groups of participants. One group receives the actual medication, while the other group receives a placebo without knowing which one they got. 2. Participants' expectations. Both groups are informed that they are participating in a study to test a new pain reliever. As a result, everyone involved might expect to feel relief from pain, whether or not they're taking the real medication. 3. Results. After a few weeks, the researchers measure the pain levels of each group. The group that received the placebo might report a significant decrease in their pain levels, even though they didn't take any actual medication. This is the placebo effect in action. Their belief in the treatment led to real improvements in their pain. 4. Interpreting the findings. The researchers compare the outcomes of both groups. If the group taking the actual medication does not show significantly greater pain relief than the placebo group, it may suggest that the medication is not effectively relieving pain, or that the placebo effect was strong among participants. Important details. 1. Variability of the effect. The strength of the placebo effect can vary from person to person. Some individuals may experience significant improvements, while others may not notice any change. Factors such as prior experiences, personal beliefs, and the nature of the condition can all influence the effect. 2. Ethical considerations. The use of placebos raises ethical questions, especially in medical practice. Doctors must consider whether it is appropriate to prescribe a placebo instead of a real treatment, as this may involve deception. 3. Applications beyond medicine. The placebo effect is not limited to medical treatments. It can also be observed in various areas, such as psychology and marketing, where expectations can influence perceived effectiveness. Conclusion. The placebo effect is a fascinating phenomenon that demonstrates how beliefs and expectations can lead to real changes in health and well-being, even when using an inactive substance. Understanding the placebo effect is crucial for evaluating treatment effectiveness and improving patient care. This knowledge will be beneficial as you prepare for your CPC exam and delve into topics involving psychology, health, and research methodologies. Nocebo effect. Sure, let's explore the nocebo effect, which is an important concept in psychology and health. It highlights how negative expectations can influence people's experiences and health outcomes. We'll break down the key concepts, important details, and provide examples to make this topic clear. What is the nocebo effect? The nocebo effect is the opposite of the placebo effect. It occurs when someone experiences negative side effects or worsening symptoms after believing that a harmless treatment or intervention will cause harm or discomfort. In simpler terms, if a person expects to feel bad because of a treatment, they might actually feel worse because of that expectation. Key concepts. 1. Expectation and belief. The nocebo effect is primarily driven by a person's beliefs and expectations. If someone is told that a treatment may have negative side effects, or if they anticipate discomfort, this can lead to a real experience of those negative effects. 2. Psychological mechanism. The nocebo effect can happen because of various psychological factors. Anxiety and worry. Ruminating on negative expectations can create stress, which might contribute to physical symptoms. Conditioning. Previous experiences with treatments that cause side effects may lead someone to expect similar reactions from new treatments, even if they are different. 3. Clinical context. The nocebo effect is important in medical settings, especially when discussing side effects of medications. Healthcare providers must be cautious about how they communicate potential side effects to avoid unintentionally inducing the nocebo effect in patients. Example of the nocebo effect. Let's go through an example to illustrate the nocebo effect in action. Scenario: a new medication. 1. Research setup. Imagine a pharmaceutical company is testing a new medication for headaches. During the trial, participants are informed that some people might experience mild side effects, such as nausea or fatigue. 2. Participants' expectations. After hearing this information, some participants may start to worry about getting these side effects. Even if they're taking a sugar pill instead of the actual medication, their fear and anxiety about these side effects can still lead to real experiences of nausea or fatigue. 3. Results. When researchers gather data at the end of the study, they find that a portion of the participants reported experiencing the same side effects that were mentioned. This showcases the nocebo effect. The individuals felt worse because they expected to feel bad. 4. Implications. The researchers must consider that these negative experiences may not be due to the medication itself, but are influenced by the participants' expectations. This highlights the need for careful communication regarding side effects in clinical settings. Important details. 1. Impact on treatment. The nocebo effect can have significant repercussions on treatment outcomes. If patients expect negative effects from a medication, they may be less likely to continue treatment or might not experience the full benefits of the medication. 2. Ethical considerations. Health professionals must balance providing necessary information about potential side effects while avoiding language that might unduly stress patients. This means using careful, reassuring communication to minimize potential nocebo responses. 3. Broader implications. The nocebo effect can extend beyond medicine. It can also occur in everyday life, such as when people anticipate negative outcomes in various situations, leading to anxiety and performance issues. Conclusion. The nocebo effect demonstrates how negative expectations and beliefs can lead to real physical and psychological symptoms, even when no actual harmful treatment is administered. Understanding this effect is crucial for healthcare providers and patients alike, as it can influence treatment effectiveness and patient well-being. This knowledge will be valuable as you prepare for your CPC exam and engage with concepts related to health, psychology, and patient care. Demand characteristics. Sure, let's explore the concept of demand characteristics, which is an important idea in psychology and research methods. Understanding this concept will help you recognize how participants in a study might change their behavior based on their perceptions of what the researchers expect from them. We will break down the key concepts, important details, and provide examples to clarify this topic. Or demand characteristics. Demand characteristics are cues or signals in an experimental setting that suggest to participants how they are expected to behave or respond. These cues can influence how participants think they should act, often leading them to alter their behavior to align with what they believe the researchers want to see. Key concepts. 1. Nature of demand characteristics. Demand characteristics can be subtle and can come from various sources, such as instructions from researchers, the environment, or even the behavior of the researchers themselves. They can lead participants to modify their responses, potentially skewing the results of the study. 2. Influence on research outcomes. When participants pick up on these cues, it may lead to biased results. For example, if participants believe that a certain type of behavior is expected, they may feel pressured to conform to that expectation rather than behaving naturally. 3. Types of demand characteristics. Cues from the researcher. A researcher's tone of voice, facial expressions, or body language may inadvertently suggest what responses are desired. Instructions given to participants. If participants are told specific outcomes are expected, this may influence how they respond. The experimental environment. The setting and context of the study can also provide clues about what is expected. 4. Response bias. Participants may exhibit response bias if they respond in a way they think is desired rather than giving their true feelings or behaviors. This can lead to inaccurate data and conclusions. Example of demand characteristics. Let's consider an example to illustrate demand characteristics in a research setting. Scenario: a study on memory recall. 1. Research setup. Imagine researchers are studying how different types of background music affect memory recall. They conduct an experiment where participants listen to various music tracks while trying to memorize a list of words. 2. Instructions given to participants. The researchers tell the participants, "We are interested in how well you perform with this type of music, so please try your best to recall as many words as possible." 3. Participants' expectations. The way this instruction is framed may lead participants to think they need to perform well in relation to the music, which might make them anxious or overly focused on performing in a specific way. For influence of cues. If the researchers appear particularly enthusiastic when participants respond correctly, it may signal to participants that correct answers are what the researchers are looking for. This could pressure participants into trying harder to recall words, thus affecting the natural way they would perform. 5. Outcome. Consequently, the results might reflect participants' desire to meet perceived expectations rather than an accurate measure of how well they can recall words with music. Important details. 1. Controlling for demand characteristics. Researchers can take steps to minimize demand characteristics in studies. Techniques include using double-blind methods. In a double-blind study, neither the participants nor the researchers know which participants are receiving the treatment or manipulation. This reduces bias. Keeping instructions general. Providing participants with neutral instructions can help prevent them from feeling pressure to respond in a certain way. 2. Awareness of demand characteristics. Researchers must be aware of demand characteristics when designing studies and interpreting results. Understanding these cues allows for better data analysis and more accurate conclusions. 3. Real-life applications. Demand characteristics are relevant beyond research settings. They can occur in everyday situations, such as when people modify their behavior based on social expectations or peer pressure. Conclusion. Demand characteristics are important cues that can influence how participants behave in a study, often leading them to respond in ways they think are expected rather than behaving naturally. Recognizing and addressing demand characteristics is crucial for obtaining reliable and valid research findings. This understanding will be helpful as you prepare for your CPC exam and engage critically with research methodologies in psychology and related fields. John Henry Effect. Sure, let's explore the John Henry Effect, which is an interesting concept in psychology and research methods. Understanding this effect can help you grasp how competition and motivation can impact the outcomes of experiments and studies. We'll break down the key concepts, important details, and provide examples to illustrate this topic clearly. What is the John Henry Effect? The John Henry Effect occurs when individuals in a control group work harder or perform better because they know they're being compared to another group that is receiving the treatment. In simpler terms, it's a form of competition motivated by the awareness of being in a control group, leading to better performance in those not receiving the treatment. Key concepts. 1. Origin of the term. The John Henry Effect is named after the folk hero John Henry, who is known for his incredible strength and determination. According to legend, he competed against a steam-powered hammer and won, demonstrating that he could outperform machines through sheer willpower. 2. Control group dynamics. In a study, participants are often divided into two groups, the treatment group and a control group. The John Henry Effect highlights what can happen when members of the control group feel they need to prove their capabilities despite not receiving the treatment. 3. Motivation and rivalry. The individuals in the control group may become motivated to perform better to show that they can achieve results comparable to those in the treatment group. This rivalry can lead to outcomes that might not accurately reflect the effect of the treatment being studied. Example of the John Henry Effect. To illustrate the John Henry Effect, let's explore a hypothetical research scenario. Scenario: an exercise program study. 1. Research setup. Researchers want to test a new exercise program designed to improve physical fitness. They recruit participants and divide them into two groups. Treatment group receives the new exercise program. Control group continues their regular exercise routine without the new program. 2. Study monitoring. Throughout the study, participants know which group they are in. The treatment group is excited about trying the new program, while the control group feels the pressure of being compared to the treatment group. 3. Response in the control group. Motivated by this comparison, the members of the control group may increase their effort during workouts or change their routines to maximize their performance, despite not being part of the new program. 4. Outcomes of the study. At the end of the study, when researchers analyze the results, they may find that both groups show improvements in physical fitness. However, the control group's performance enhancements might be due to their rivalry with the treatment group rather than an actual effect of the new exercise program. 5. Implications. This scenario illustrates the John Henry effect, as the control group's compensatory efforts could lead to skewed results, making it difficult to determine how effective the new exercise program really is. Important details. 1. Impact on research validity. The John Henry effect can complicate the interpretation of research findings. It may lead researchers to conclude that an intervention is more effective than it actually is, due to enhanced performance in the control group. 2. Strategies to mitigate the effect. Researchers can take steps to minimize the John Henry effect, such as blinding. Participants do not know which group they are in, reducing the potential for rivalry. Maintaining neutral briefing. Avoid emphasizing the differences between groups in a way that might provoke competitiveness. 3. Broader implications. The John Henry effect can also be seen outside of controlled experiments, such as in workplaces or sports, where individuals may strive to outperform peers when they perceive competition. Conclusion. The John Henry effect illustrates how the awareness of being in a control group can motivate individuals to work harder and perform better, potentially skewing research outcomes. Understanding this effect is crucial for researchers to design studies that accurately reflect the impact of treatments and interventions. This knowledge will be valuable as you prepare for your CPC exam, helping you critically assess research methodologies and outcomes in psychology and related fields. Demoralization of the comparison group. Sure, let's explore the concept of demoralization of the comparison group, an important idea in psychology, particularly in research contexts. This concept helps us understand how being part of a comparison group can affect participants' attitudes and behaviors. We'll break down the key concepts, important details, and give examples to illustrate this topic. What is demoralization of the comparison group? Demoralization of the comparison group occurs when individuals in a control group feel discouraged, disheartened, or demotivated. This can happen if they believe that the treatment group will experience better outcomes or benefits while they do not. Key concepts. 1. Comparison groups. In experiments, researchers often divide participants into two groups. Treatment group receives the new treatment or intervention being studied. Control group does not receive the treatment and may receive a placebo or standard treatment. The control group serves as a baseline to compare against the treatment group. 2. Feelings of inferiority. When members of the comparison group observe or believe that the treatment group is improving or benefiting, they may start to feel inferior or discouraged. This feeling can lead to decreased motivation and engagement in the study. 3. Impact on outcomes. The demoralization experienced by the comparison group can affect their performance or willingness to participate fully in the study, which may skew the results and limit the validity of the findings. Example of demoralization of the comparison group. To illustrate this concept, let's go through a hypothetical example. 1. Research setup. Researchers want to evaluate a new academic program intended to improve students' learning outcomes. They recruit high school students and divide them into two groups. Treatment group receives the new academic program. Comparison group continues with the traditional teaching method. 2. Expectations. The researchers inform both groups that they will be tested at the end of the semester to measure their learning progress. Students in the treatment group are excited about the new program and hopeful about improving their grades. 3. Effects on the comparison group. As the semester progresses, students in the comparison group might start to feel demoralized. They notice their peers in the treatment group receiving extra support, new resources, and enthusiasm from their teachers, which may lead them to feel like they are at a disadvantage. 4. Decreased motivation. As a result of feeling this way, the students in the comparison group might become less engaged in their studies. They may feel that their efforts won't matter since they are not receiving the same support and resources, leading to lower motivation and performance. 5. Research outcomes. At the end of the semester, the researchers find that the treatment group has significantly improved grades compared to the comparison group. However, this result may not solely reflect the effectiveness of the new program. It might also be influenced by the demoralization among the comparison group. Important details. 1. Impact on research validity. The demoralization of the comparison group can compromise the validity of research findings. If the comparison group performs poorly due to their demoralization rather than a true lack of effectiveness in the treatment, interpretations of the study results can be misleading. 2. Mitigating demoralization. Researchers can take steps to minimize demoralization effects in comparison groups, such as providing regular feedback. Keeping the comparison group informed about their progress can help maintain their motivation. Encouraging participation. Ensuring that both groups feel valued and engaged in different ways can help mitigate feelings of inferiority. 3. Broader context. Demoralization can occur beyond research settings. It can happen in workplaces, sports teams, or social situations where individuals compare themselves to others who they believe have an advantage. Conclusion. Demoralization of the comparison group highlights how feelings of discouragement or inferiority in a control group can influence their motivation and performance, potentially skewing research results. Understanding this concept is essential for researchers to design studies that accurately measure the effects of treatments and interventions while considering the psychological impact on all participants. This knowledge will be useful as you prepare for your CPC exam and engage critically with research methodologies and their implications in psychology. Validity and reliability. Internal validity. Absolutely. Let's discuss internal validity, a critical concept in research that helps determine how accurate and trustworthy the results of a study are. Understanding internal validity will help you evaluate research findings effectively, which is especially important for your preparation for the CPC exam. We'll break down key concepts, important details, and provide examples for clarity. What is internal validity? Internal validity refers to the extent to which a study can establish a clear cause and effect relationship between the variables being studied. In simpler terms, it measures how well the research design allows you to determine whether the changes in the dependent variable are truly due to the independent variable. High internal validity means that the study effectively eliminates other explanations for the results. Key concepts. 1. Cause and effect. Internal validity is all about ensuring that the effects observed in the study are directly caused by the independent variable and not by other confounding factors. For example, if you're studying whether a new teaching method improves test scores, you want to make sure that any improvements in scores are truly due to the teaching method and not to other variables. 2. Confounding variables. A confounding variable is an outside factor that can affect the outcome of the study and potentially mislead the results. For example, if students in a new teaching program have more experienced teachers than those in a traditional program, the differences in teaching experience could confound the results. 3. Control groups. Using a control group is a common method to improve internal validity. It allows researchers to compare results and determine whether the changes are due to the treatment or other factors. 4. Random assignment. Randomly assigning participants to different groups helps ensure that any differences observed between groups are not due to pre-existing differences among participants. This technique enhances internal validity by making the groups more comparable at the start of the study. Example of internal validity. Let's consider an example to illustrate internal validity. Scenario: testing a new diet plan. 1. Research setup. A group of researchers wants to test a new diet plan's effectiveness for weight loss. They recruit participants and divide them into two groups. Treatment group. follows the new diet plan. Control group follows a standard diet. 2. Internal validity consideration. The researchers want to ensure that any weight loss observed in the treatment group is solely due to the new diet and not influenced by other factors. 3. Controlling for confounding variables. To strengthen internal validity, the researchers make sure that both groups have similar characteristics at the start. They use random assignment to divide participants so that age, gender, and initial weight are evenly spread across both groups. For measuring outcomes, after several weeks, the researchers measure weight loss in both groups. If the treatment group loses more weight than the control group, they can convincingly claim that the new diet plan caused this difference, supporting high internal validity. Important details. 1. Threats to internal validity. Several factors can threaten internal validity, including selection bias. If the groups are not equivalent at the start, the results can be skewed. History effects. Events outside the study that occur during the experiment could impact participants' behavior. Maturation. Natural changes in participants over time can affect the results. 2. Measurement accuracy. Accurate measurement of the dependent variable is crucial. If the tools used to measure outcomes are unreliable, internal validity is compromised. For example, using different scales to weigh participants could introduce errors. 3. Importance in research. High internal validity strengthens confidence in the conclusions drawn from study. It tells researchers and consumers of research that the findings are trustworthy and meaningful in understanding cause and effect. Conclusion. Internal validity is a crucial concept in research that assesses whether the results of a study can be attributed directly to the independent variable. By understanding internal validity, researchers can design studies that effectively control for confounding variables, employ random assignment, and accurately measure outcomes. This knowledge is essential as you prepare for your CPC exam and engage critically with research findings in psychology and related fields. External validity. Sure, let's delve into the concept of external validity, which is an important idea in research. Understanding external validity will help you evaluate how well research findings can be applied to real-world situations and populations beyond the specific study sample. We'll break down key concepts, important details, and provide examples for clarity. What is external validity? External validity refers to the extent to which the results of a study can be generalized to, or have relevance for, settings, people, times, and measures beyond the specific conditions of the study. In simpler terms, it asks the question, can we apply these findings to other groups or situations? High external validity means the results can be confidently applied to different populations or contexts. Key concepts. 1. Generalization. Generalization is the process of applying findings from a study to a broader population or context. For example, if a study found that a specific teaching method improved test scores for high school students in one school, can we generalize that finding to high school students in other schools or settings? 2. Population validity. This aspect of external validity focuses on whether the sample used in the study is representative of the larger population. If the study participants are very different from the general population, it may be hard to apply those findings to everyone. 3. Ecological validity. This refers to whether a study's findings can be applicable in real-world settings. For example, if a study is conducted in a lab with strict control conditions, the results might not hold true in everyday life, where variables aren't controlled as tightly. 4. Cross-situational validity. This term addresses whether findings from a study can be applied to different situations or environments. For instance, a study conducted in an urban school might not yield the same results in a rural school due to environmental differences. Example of external validity. Let's consider an example to illustrate external validity in a research situation. Scenario: a study on stress relief techniques. 1. Research setup. Researchers conduct a study to see if a new stress relief technique is effective for college students. They randomly assign 100 college students to either the mindfulness group or a control group that does not receive the technique. 2. Findings. After several weeks, The researchers find that students in the mindfulness group report lower stress levels compared to the control group. 3. Evaluating external validity. Population validity. The researchers must consider whether these results can be generalized to all students or even to adults outside of college. If most participants were in their late teens or early 20s, can we apply these findings to older adults or younger children? Ecological validity. If the stress relief technique was practiced in a controlled lab setting, the researchers should question whether students would practice it the same way in their everyday lives, where distractions and stressors are different. Cross-situational validity. If the study only took place in one university, it's possible that students from a different community or cultural background might respond differently to the mindfulness technique. 4. Conclusion on external validity. If researchers determine that the sample is representative of a larger population and that the findings are applicable across various settings and groups, then the study can be said to have high external validity. On the other hand, if there are limitations in these areas, the ability to generalize the findings would be weakened. Important details. 1. Threats to external validity. Several factors can threaten external validity, such as sample characteristics. If the sample is too homogeneous or specific, the results may not apply to other populations. Setting. Studies conducted in lab settings may not translate well to real-world situations, affecting generalizability. Time. Changes over time may make findings less applicable to future situations. 2. Balancing internal and external validity. Researchers often face a trade-off between internal and external validity. While controlling conditions increases internal validity, it might reduce external validity if those control conditions are not reflective of real-world scenarios. 3. Importance in research. High external validity is crucial for research to have practical applications. Findings need to matter in real-world contexts, influencing practices, policies, and interventions in various fields, such as psychology, education, and public health. Conclusion. External validity is essential for determining whether research findings can be generalized to broader populations, settings, and times. It addresses the practical significance of a study's results and their applicability in real life. Understand reliability. Sure, let's discuss the concept of reliability in psychology and research. Understanding reliability is crucial because it helps you evaluate the consistency and dependability of measurement tools and research methods. We'll break down the key concepts, important details, and provide examples for clarity. What is reliability? Reliability refers to the consistency of a measure or test. In simple terms, if you take a test or measurement multiple times, reliability means that you should get similar results each time, assuming that what you are measuring hasn't changed. High reliability indicates that the tool you are using measures accurately and consistently over time. Key concepts. 1. Types of reliability. There are several types of reliability that researchers commonly assess. 2. A test-retest reliability. This type measures the consistency of a test over time. If you take the same test on 2 different occasions and get similar results, it demonstrates high test-retest reliability. Example: if you take a personality test today and then take the same test again 2 weeks later and score similarly, the test has good test-retest reliability. 3. Inter-rater reliability. This type examines the consistency of results when different people use the same test or measurement tool. High inter-rater reliability means that different raters come up with similar scores or observations. Example: if 2 teachers assess students' essays using the same grading rubric and give similar scores, this indicates strong inter-rater reliability. 4. Internal consistency. This type refers to whether different items or questions within a test measure the same underlying concept consistently. High internal consistency means that each part of the test contributes to measuring the same thing. Example: in a survey measuring anxiety, if questions that ask about feeling nervous and questions about feeling restless all yield similar responses, the survey has high internal consistency. 5. Importance of reliability. Reliability is critical because it supports the validity of research findings. If a measurement tool is not reliable, The results may vary widely, making it difficult to draw accurate conclusions. Researchers need reliability to ensure that the tests or measurements they use are stable and dependable. 6. Measuring reliability. Researchers often use statistical methods to calculate reliability coefficients, which indicate how reliable a measure is. These coefficients range from 0 to 1, with higher values indicating better reliability. For example, a reliability coefficient of 0.9 or higher is generally considered excellent, while a coefficient below 0.7 may indicate that the measure needs improvement. Example of reliability. Let's go through a practical example to illustrate reliability. Scenario: a study on student performance. 1. Research setup. Imagine researchers want to assess students' math skills using a standardized test. They want to ensure that the test is reliable. 2. Test-retest reliability. The researchers administer the test to a group of students this week and then again 2 weeks later. If 3. Interrogateur reliability. Suppose the same student's math problem-solving process is assessed by 2 different teachers. If both teachers score the student's methods similarly, the test shows high inter-rater reliability. 4. Internal consistency. If the test consists of multiple-choice questions assessing various aspects of math, the researchers analyze whether students who do well on addition also do well on subtraction. If there's a strong correlation, it indicates high internal consistency in measuring math skills. Important details. 1. Reliability versus validity. While reliability focuses on consistency, validity refers to whether a test or measure accurately measures what it claims to measure. A test can be reliable but not valid. For example, a ruler may consistently measure length but inaccurately measure the temperature. 2. Factors affecting reliability. Several factors can influence reliability, such as test conditions, test length, ambiguity in questions. Conclusion. Reliability is a vital concept in psychology and research that assesses the consistency and dependability of measurements and tests. Understanding reliability helps you evaluate how trustworthy the results of studies or assessments are. A reliable test allows researchers to draw accurate conclusions and make informed decisions based on their findings. This knowledge will be beneficial as you prepare for your CPC exam and engage with research methodologies in psychology and related fields. Observation reactivity effect. Sure, let's explore the concept of the observation reactivity effect, which is important in psychology and research. Understanding this effect will help you recognize how awareness of being observed can influence people's behavior. We'll break down key concepts, important details, and provide examples for clarity. What is the observation reactivity effect? The observation reactivity effect refers to a change in behavior that occurs when individuals know they are being watched or observed. In simple terms, people often act differently when they know someone is paying attention to them, which can lead to biased or inaccurate results in research studies. This effect can skew the findings and limit the validity of the study. Key concepts. 1. Reactivity. Reactivity is the tendency for individuals to modify their behavior when they are aware that they are being observed. This means they might act in a way they think is expected or socially acceptable, rather than their usual behavior. 2. Impact on research. The observation effect can significantly impact research results, especially in studies that rely on naturalistic observation or self-reports. If participants change their behavior because they know they are being watched, it can make it hard to determine what their actual behavior would be in a normal setting. 3. Types of studies affected. Observational studies, where researchers watch and record behaviors in real time without interference, are especially susceptible to the observation effect. For example, if researchers are studying how people interact in a public park, individuals might change their interactions or become more reserved if they know they are being watched. Example of the observation reactivity effect. Let's consider an example to illustrate the observation reactivity effect. Scenario: a study on classroom behavior. 1. Research setup. Researchers want to observe how students behave in a classroom setting to study engagement and participation. They plan to record the students' interactions during lessons over several weeks. 2. Observation. When the researchers arrive to observe the classroom, the students become aware that their behavior is being monitored. Knowing they're being observed, some students might raise their hands more often to answer questions, while others might become quieter or less engaged than usual. 3. Impact on results. Because of the observation effect, the researchers might conclude that the classroom environment is more participative than it actually is. The data collected may not accurately reflect typical student behavior because the observation has influenced their actions. Important details. 1. Reducing the observation effect. Researchers can take steps to minimize the observation effect, such as using hidden cameras to observe behavior without participants knowing they are being watched. Natural settings. Conducting observations in environments where the individuals naturally behave, like cafes or parks, without announcing that the researchers are observing them. Familiarizing participants. Allowing participants to become comfortable with the observer or the recording device before starting the actual observation. This may help reduce anxiety or self-consciousness. 2. Ethical considerations. While reducing the observation effect is important, researchers must also consider the ethics of observation. It's essential to ensure participants are informed and consent to being observed, especially in settings where privacy is important. 3. Broader applications. The observation reactivity effect is relevant not only in research, but also in everyday life. For instance, people might change their behavior in public when they think they're being watched, like in a job interview or during a presentation. Conclusion. The observation reactivity effect highlights how awareness of being observed can influence behavior, leading to potential bias in research findings. Understanding this effect is important for researchers to design studies that accurately reflect real-world behavior. This knowledge is valuable for your preparation for the CPC exam and helps you critically assess research methodologies in psychology and related fields. Research methodology. Sampling. Simple random sampling. Stratified sampling. Cluster sampling. Systematic sampling. Snowball sampling. Horizontal-vertical sampling. Sure, let's explore the different types of sampling methods used in research. Understanding these methods is important because how researchers select their samples can affect the reliability and validity of their study results. We'll break down each type clearly, using simple language and examples. 1. Simple random sampling. Simple random sampling is a method where every member of the population has an equal chance of being selected. This method ensures that the sample is representative of the population. Key concepts. Equal chance. Every individual has the same likelihood of being chosen. Random selection. Researchers might use random number generators or draw names from a hat. Example. If a school has 500 students and you want to select 50 for a survey, you could assign each student a number and then use a random number generator to select 50 numbers. This way, each student has an equal chance of being chosen. 2. Stratified sampling. Stratified sampling involves dividing the population into distinct groups or strata based on specific characteristics and then randomly sampling from each group. This approach ensures representation from each group. Key concepts. Strata, groups based on characteristics. Proportional representation. Researchers sample from each stratum in proportion to its size and the overall population. Example, suppose a company wants to survey its employees about job satisfaction. If there are 200 employees divided into 2 departments, researchers might choose to survey 20 from each department to ensure both groups are represented. 3. Cluster sampling. Cluster sampling involves dividing the population into clusters and then randomly selecting whole clusters to participate in the study. This method is useful when it's difficult to access the entire population. Key concepts. Clusters, groups that represent the population, such as neighborhoods or schools. Randomly selected clusters. Instead of sampling individuals from the entire population, the researchers select entire clusters. Example, if a city wants to survey its residents about city services, they could divide the city into neighborhoods and randomly select a few neighborhoods to survey instead of contacting every resident. 4. Systematic sampling. Systematic sampling involves selecting every nth individual from a list or sequence. The first individual is chosen randomly, and the rest are selected based on a fixed interval. Key concepts. Systematic selection. Choose a starting point and then select every nth individual. Interval. The fixed number between selections. Example. If you have a list of 100 students and want to select 10, you might decide to pick every 10th student. If you randomly start with the third student, you would then select the 3rd, 13th, 23rd, and so on until you have your sample. 5. Snowball sampling. Snowball sampling is a non-probability sampling technique often used when researchers need to reach a specific population that is hard to access. In this method, existing study participants recruit new participants from their networks. Key concepts. Network-based recruitment. Participants help identify other participants. Useful for hard-to-reach populations. Common in studies involving specific groups. Example. If researchers are studying the experiences of homeless individuals, they might start with one participant who then helps connect them with others. As more people are recruited, the sample snowballs in size. 6. Horizontal and vertical sampling. Horizontal sampling and vertical sampling are terms that relate to the levels at which the sample is taken within a population or organization. Horizontal sampling. This sampling method involves selecting samples across different segments or categories at the same level. Example. A researcher surveying employee opinions in a large company might select representatives from all departments to get a balanced view across the organization. Vertical sampling. This method involves selecting samples from different hierarchical levels or layers within an organization. Example. In studying managerial effectiveness, a researcher might sample lower-level employees, mid-level managers, and top executives to understand perspectives at different levels of the organization. Conclusion. Understanding the different sampling methods is crucial in research because the chosen method affects how representative the findings are of the larger population. Using appropriate sampling techniques helps ensure that research results are valid and can be generalized. Familiarizing yourself with these concepts will be beneficial for your CPC exam and your future studies in psychology and research methods. Sure, let's explore the concept of operational definition, which is important in research and psychology. Understanding operational definitions will help you grasp how researchers clarify and measure the concepts they are studying. We'll break down the key concepts, important details, and provide examples for clarity. What is an operational definition? An operational definition explains how a concept or variable will be measured or observed in a particular study. It provides a clear, specific way to define and quantify vague or abstract ideas so that others can understand exactly what the researcher means and how they are measuring it. Key concepts. 1. Clarity. Operational definitions make concepts clear and understandable. Instead of using vague terms, researchers specify exactly how they will measure their main variables. 2. Measurement. These definitions tell researchers and readers how to see, quantify, or evaluate the concept in a way that is consistent and repeatable. 3. Reproducibility. By using operational definitions, researchers help other scientists to replicate the study. This reliability is essential for verifying and validating research findings. Importance of operational definitions. Consistency. Operational definitions provide a standard way to measure concepts, ensuring that everyone understands and evaluates the same thing. Precision. They eliminate ambiguity, allowing researchers to focus on specific aspects of variables, which is crucial for accurate data collection and analysis. Foundation for research. They form the basis for hypothesizing and interpreting results, making findings more valid and reliable. Examples of operational definitions. Let's look at some examples to make the concept clearer. 1. Measuring stress. Vague definition. Stress levels will be assessed. Operational definition. Stress levels will be measured using the perceived stress scale, where participants rate their stress on a 10-item questionnaire that asks about feelings and thoughts during the last month. Scores will range from 0 to 40 explanation. Here, the operational definition specifies the exact tool, the questionnaire format, and the scoring system, making it clear how stress will be assessed. 2. Defining academic performance. Vague definition. Academic performance will be evaluated. Operational definition. Academic performance will be measured by the student's GPA at the end of the semester, where the GPA is calculated from grades in all enrolled courses. Explanation. This operational definition clearly states that GPA will be used as the measure, providing transparency about how academic success is quantified. 3. Assessing happiness. Vague definition. Happiness will be measured. Operational definition. Happiness will be evaluated using the Oxford Happiness Questionnaire, which consists of 29 items that participants score on a scale from 1 to 6. Explanation. This definition specifies the exact questionnaire used and how participants will rate their feelings, making the measure of happiness concrete. Important details. 1. Role in research design. Operational definitions are essential when designing research studies, as they influence how data is collected and interpreted. Clear operational definitions ensure that researchers know what to look for and how to interpret their findings. 2. Implications for findings. The way a concept is operationally defined can affect the results and conclusions of research. Different definitions may lead to different findings, even under similar circumstances. 3. Adaptability. While operational definitions are specific, they can evolve based on new findings or insights. Researchers may refine their definitions as they gain better understanding or measurement tools. Conclusion. An operational definition is a crucial concept in research that specifies how a variable or concept will be measured and observed. It provides clarity and precision, making research results more reliable and understandable. By using operational definitions, researchers can communicate their methods clearly, allowing others to replicate studies and validate findings. This knowledge will be beneficial for your preparation for the CPC exam and your understanding of research methodologies in psychology. Replication. Sure, let's explore the concept of replication in research, which is a vital aspect of the scientific method. Understanding replication will help you appreciate the reliability and validity of research findings. We'll break down key concepts, important details, and provide examples for better understanding. What is replication? Replication is the process of conducting a study again or repeating an experiment to see if the same results can be obtained. The main goal of replication is to verify that the original findings are reliable and not just a one-time occurrence due to chance or specific conditions. Key concepts. 1. Importance of replication. Replication is critical for establishing the credibility of research. Reliable findings should be consistent across different studies and settings. When scientists replicate research and achieve similar results, it strengthens the evidence for a theory or hypothesis. 2. Types of replication. Direct replication. This involves repeating the original study as closely as possible, using the same methods and procedures. Direct replication tests whether the original findings hold true under the same conditions. Conceptual replication. This type tests the same theory or hypothesis but uses different methods, measures, or populations. Conceptual replication helps to see if the findings are robust across various contexts. 3. Limitations. Sometimes, replicated studies may yield different results due to variations in sample size, conditions, or measurement techniques. A lack of replication can indicate that the original findings might have been influenced by biases or specific circumstances. Importance of replication. Building trust in science. Replication helps confirm that findings are not due to random chance or errors. It builds trust in scientific results when multiple studies support the same conclusions. Identifying errors. Replication can uncover mistakes or biases in original research. If replication studies fail to reproduce results, it might prompt a re-evaluation of the original work. Advancing knowledge. Through replication, researchers refine theories and improve understanding. Consistent results can lead to stronger theories, while conflicting results can inspire new research directions. Examples of replication. 1. Original study. Suppose researchers find a new teaching method significantly improves student test scores in math. 2. Direct replication. Other researchers replicate the study in the same school with a similar group of students. If they find similar improvements in test scores, this supports the reliability of the original study. 3. Conceptual replication. 4. Medical research. 5. Direct replication. 6. Conceptual replication. A different group of researchers may conduct a similar study in various schools with diverse demographics to see if the teaching method still works. If they find improvements again, it suggests that the teaching method is effective across different environments. In medical science, if a new drug shows promising results in treating a disease, other researchers will conduct replication studies to confirm its effectiveness. They may replicate the original clinical trial with the same dosage and patient population. Other studies might investigate different dosages or patient groups to see if the drug remains effective. Important details. 1. Challenges of replication. Replicating studies can be difficult due to factors like funding, access to data, and ethical considerations. Researchers may face challenges in using the same methodology as the original study. 2. Reproducibility crisis. In recent years, a replicability crisis has emerged in some fields, notably psychology and medicine. Many high-profile studies have failed to replicate, leading to questions about the validity of those findings. 3. Open science movement. The movement towards open science encourages sharing data, methods, and materials. This transparency can help facilitate replication and address issues in reproducibility. Conclusion. Replication is a fundamental concept in research that verifies the reliability of findings by repeating studies. It ensures that results are not flukes and strengthens scientific knowledge through confirmation. Both direct and conceptual replication play vital roles in building trust in scientific research. Understanding this concept is essential for your preparation for the CPC exam and will enhance your ability to critically evaluate research in psychology and other fields. Deductive versus inductive logic. Sure, let's break down the topics of deductive logic and inductive logic. Both are important methods of reasoning used in problem-solving, scientific thinking, and decision-making. Understanding the differences between them will help you think critically and analyze arguments. We'll break down the key concepts, important details, and provide examples for clarity. What is deductive logic? Deductive logic is a method of reasoning where conclusions are drawn from general principles or premises that are assumed to be true. In simple terms, if the premises are true, the conclusion must also be true. Key concepts of deductive logic. 1. General to specific. Deductive reasoning starts with a general statement or hypothesis and applies it to a specific case. 2. Validity. The conclusion follows logically from the premises. If the premises are correct, the conclusion is guaranteed to be correct. 3. Structure. Deductive arguments typically have a formal structure, often using the format of syllogisms. Example of deductive logic. Premise 1. All humans are mortal. Premise 2. Socrates is a human. Conclusion. Therefore, Socrates is mortal. In this example, because both premises are true, the conclusion must also be true. Deductive logic provides certainty if the premises are correct. What is inductive logic? Inductive logic is a method of reasoning that involves drawing generalized conclusions from specific observations or examples. In other words, it moves from specific instances to broader generalizations. Key concepts of inductive logic. 1. Specific to general. Inductive reasoning starts with specific observations and develops a general conclusion or theory from them. 2. Probability. The conclusions drawn are not guaranteed to be true. They are probable based on the evidence provided. 3. Flexibility. Inductive reasoning allows for new evidence to change or refine the conclusion. Example of inductive logic. Observation 1. The sun has risen in the east every day of my life. Observation 2. The sun rose in the east yesterday. Conclusion. The sun will rise in the east tomorrow. In this example, while the conclusion seems likely based on repeated observations, it is not guaranteed. Inductive logic is based on patterns and evidence, but new evidence could potentially lead to different conclusions. Comparison of deductive and inductive logic. When analyzing data, researchers must consider the possibility of multiple treatment interference and determine how it may affect the results. They may use statistical methods to adjust for confounding variables or interpret results cautiously when multiple treatments have been applied. Conclusion. Multiple treatment interference is an important concept in research that highlights the complications that arise when participants receive more than one treatment or condition. Understanding this interference helps researchers design better studies and draw more accurate conclusions about the effects of each treatment. Being aware of multiple treatment interference is essential for your preparation for the CPC exam and will enhance your understanding of experimental design in psychology and other fields. Case study. Sure, let's explore the concept of a case study, which is a research method often used in psychology and other social sciences. Understanding this topic is important because case studies can provide rich, detailed insights into individual behaviors, experiences, and conditions. We'll break down the key concepts, important details, and provide examples for clarity. What is a case study? A case study refers to an in-depth examination of a single individual, group, or situation. The N represents the number of participants in the study, and in this case, 1 indicates that the focus is on just one subject. This method is used to gather detailed qualitative data that may help researchers understand complex issues. Key concepts. 1. Intensive exploration. Case studies allow researchers to conduct an exhaustive analysis of one particular case. This can involve collecting various types of data, such as interviews, observations, documents, and other relevant information. 2. Qualitative data. Case studies typically focus on qualitative data, which includes non-numerical information that helps researchers understand the subject's thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and experiences. 3. Contextual understanding. Since case studies provide rich details about the context in which something occurs, they can help researchers understand the factors that might influence behavior or outcomes. 4. Exploratory research. Case studies are often used for exploratory research, especially when a topic is not well understood or when researchers want to investigate a unique or rare phenomenon. Importance of case studies. Depth of insight. By focusing on one case, researchers can gain deep insights into the complexities of human behavior or experiences that might be missed in larger studies. Theory development. Case studies can help develop new theories or refine existing ones by providing detailed examples of how theories play out in real life. Real-world application. Findings from case studies can inform practical applications, interventions, or therapies based on individual needs and circumstances. Examples of case studies. 1. Psychological disorders. A famous example of a case study is the story of Phineas Gage, a railroad worker who survived a severe brain injury when an iron rod accidentally went through his skull. Before the accident, he was known to be responsible and sociable, but afterward, his personality changed dramatically. Researchers studied his case to learn about the relationship between brain function and personality, contributing to our understanding of the impact of brain injuries on behavior. 2. Rare medical conditions. A researcher may conduct a case study on a patient with a rare disease. By documenting the patient's symptoms, treatment, and response over time, the researcher can provide valuable insights into the condition, which may help inform future medical practices or research on similar cases. 3. Therapeutic interventions. A therapist might conduct a case study on one client undergoing cognitive behavioral therapy for anxiety. By tracking the client's progress, detailing their experiences in therapy, and noting the techniques that worked best, the therapist can better understand how CBT affects individuals and refine their approach for future clients. Important details. 1. Limitations. While case studies provide in-depth insights, they also have limitations. Generalizability. Findings from a single case may not be applicable to other individuals or situations. This means that researchers must be careful about making broad conclusions based on one case. Bias. The researcher's subjectivity may influence the interpretation of data, as personal feelings or beliefs can affect how information is analyzed. 2. Ethical considerations. Researchers conducting case studies should consider ethical issues, such as informed consent and confidentiality. Participants must understand the study's purpose and agree to share their experiences. 3. Complementary to other methods. Case studies are often used alongside other research methods. Combining qualitative case studies with quantitative research can lead to a more comprehensive understanding of a topic. Conclusion. A case study is a valuable research method that allows for deep exploration of a single individual, group, or situation. This approach provides rich qualitative data and contextual insights, helping researchers understand complex behaviors and conditions. While case studies have limitations, they play a crucial role in theory development and real-world application. Understanding this method will be beneficial for your preparation for the CPC exam and will enhance your comprehension of research methodologies used in psychology and social sciences. Sources of information in research. ERIC. Sure, let's explore ERIC, which is an important resource for students, educators, and researchers in the field of education. Understanding what ERIC is and how it works will help you access valuable educational materials and research. We'll break down key concepts, important details, and provide examples for better understanding. What is ERIC? ERIC is a comprehensive online database that provides access to a wide range of education-related literature, including journals, research reports, conference papers, and other educational resources. It was established to help improve education by making research and information available to educators, researchers, and the public. Key concepts. 1. Purpose. ERIC's main goal is to provide a platform for accessing high-quality educational research and resources. It serves as a key source of information for people who want to improve teaching methods, educational policies, and learning outcomes. 2. Types of materials. ERIC includes various types of materials, such as peer-reviewed journals, articles that have been evaluated by experts in education before publication, research reports, detailed studies that present findings from educational research, conference papers, presentations, or papers discussed at educational conferences, dissertations and theses, in-depth research projects completed as part of graduate studies. 3. Accessibility. ERIC provides free access to many of its resources, making it easier for anyone interested in education to find relevant information. However, some materials may link to publishers' websites where a subscription or payment is required. Importance of ERIC. Resource for educators. ERIC is a valuable tool for teachers and administrators seeking evidence-based practices, teaching strategies, and information about educational innovations. Supports research. Researchers can use ERIC to find comprehensive literature on specific topics in education and to stay updated on recent studies and developments in the field. Informs policy. Policymakers and advocates can draw on the research available through ERIC to make informed decisions about education policies and reforms. How to use ERIC. 1. Searching the database. Users can search ERIC by keywords related to their topics of interest. This makes it easy to find specific studies, articles, or reports on subjects like teaching methods, student achievement, or educational technology. 2. Refining searches. ERIC allows users to refine their searches by various criteria, such as publication date, audience, or type of publication. 3. Accessing full texts. Many resources on ERIC include links to full texts, while others may provide abstracts and information on how to access the full articles elsewhere. Examples of using ERIC. 1. Finding research on classroom management. A teacher looking for effective classroom management strategies can search ERIC for articles and studies that discuss various techniques and their effectiveness in different educational settings. 2. Exploring technology in education. A graduate student researching the impact of technology on learning can use ERIC to find recent research reports and journal articles that evaluate how technology enhances or changes educational practices. 3. Informing educational policy. A school administrator interested in improving student literacy rates can access studies on successful reading intervention programs through ERIC, allowing them to make informed decisions about program adoption. Important details. 1. History of ERIC. ERIC was established in 1966 and is managed by the Institute of Education Sciences within the U.S. Department of Education. Over the years, it has evolved to include a vast array of educational resources. 2. ERIC Digests. ERIC also provides short summaries called ERD that summarize key findings from longer reports or studies. These digests make it easier to quickly grasp essential information without having to read lengthy texts. 3. Limitations. While ERIC is a valuable resource, users should be aware that not all education-related literature exists in the database. Some local or less formal studies may not be included, so it's essential to explore other resources as well. Conclusion. ERIC is an essential online database that provides access to a wealth of educational materials and research. By understanding how to use ERIC, educators, researchers, and students can tap into the latest findings and best practices in education, making it easier to enhance teaching and learning. Familiarizing yourself with ERIC will be beneficial for your studies, especially as you prepare for the CPC exam and your future endeavors in education. Primary versus secondary resources. Certainly, let's break down the concepts of primary versus secondary resources. Understanding these types of resources is important for conducting research and evaluating information, especially in fields like psychology, history, and social sciences. We'll go over key concepts, important details, and provide examples to make everything clear. What are primary resources? Primary resources are original materials or documents that provide direct evidence or first-hand accounts of events, experiences, or research. They are created at the time something happens or right after, and they have not been altered or interpreted by others. Key characteristics of primary resources. 1. Originality. Primary resources are original works or first-hand pieces of evidence, meaning they have not been modified or analyzed by others. 2. Direct source. They offer direct insight into a subject, event, or phenomenon. 3. Variety. Primary resources can take many forms, including diaries and journals, personal reflections, or daily records of experiences. Interviews. Direct conversations or discussions with individuals. Photographs and artifacts. Visual or physical evidence from the time of the event. Research reports. Findings and data from original research studies. Letters and correspondence. Written communication, such as letters or emails. Example of primary resources. Historical document. A letter written by a soldier during World War II describing battlefield experiences. Scientific study. A peer-reviewed journal article presenting original research findings on a psychological experiment. Personal diary. The diary of Anne Frank, which provides a personal account of her life during the Holocaust. What are secondary resources? Secondary resources are analyses, interpretations, or summaries of primary resources. They discuss, evaluate, or comment on primary materials, providing second-hand accounts of information. Secondary resources help to contextualize or analyze the original material. Key characteristics of secondary resources. 1. Interpretative. Secondary resources interpret or analyze primary data rather than presenting it directly. 2. Contextualization. They provide background information, critique, or summaries of primary resources, helping readers understand the significance of the primary materials. 3. Types of secondary resources. These can include textbooks, books that summarize and explain theories, research, or historical events. Review articles. Articles that summarize findings from multiple research studies in a particular area. Biographies. Accounts of a person's life written by someone else. Documentaries. Films that explore events and people through analysis and narration, often using primary resources for content. Example of secondary resources. Textbook. A psychology textbook providing an overview of theories and research on anxiety disorders. Biography. A book about the life of Martin Luther King Jr. that includes interpretations and insights based on primary sources like speeches and letters. Review article. An article summarizing various studies on the effects of social media on mental health, drawing upon several primary research articles. Importance of understanding primary versus secondary resources. 1. Research. When conducting research, Knowing the difference between primary and secondary resources helps you assess the reliability and originality of the information you're using. 2. Critical thinking. Understanding how resources relate to each other enables you to think critically about the material and its context. 3. Depth of knowledge. Engaging with primary sources can provide a deeper understanding of a topic, while secondary sources help you gain broader insights and historical context. Summary of differences. Conclusion. The distinction between primary and secondary resources is crucial for understanding research and information gathering. Primary resources provide original insights and first-hand accounts, while secondary resources offer analyses and interpretations of those original materials. Recognizing the differences between these two types of resources will improve your research skills and critical thinking, especially as you prepare for the CPC exam and your future studies in psychology and related fields. SPSS. Sure, let's explore SPSS, a powerful software application used in statistical analysis for various fields, especially in social sciences like psychology, sociology, and education. Understanding SPSS will help you analyze research data effectively. We'll break down key concepts, important details, and provide examples for clarity. What is SPSS? SPSS is a software program used for statistical analysis. It allows researchers to input, manipulate, and analyze data efficiently. SPSS is widely used in social sciences, health research, marketing, and many other fields that require data analysis. Key concepts. 1. Data management. SPSS helps in managing and organizing data. You can input data from surveys, experiments, or other sources and arrange it in a way that makes it easy to analyze. 2. Statistical analysis. With SPSS, you can perform a variety of statistical analyses, such as descriptive statistics. These include measures like averages, medians, and standard deviations, which summarize the basic features of the data. Inferential statistics. Techniques like t-tests, ANOVA, regression analysis, and chi-square tests help you make predictions or inferences about a population based on sample data. Correlation. Assessing the relationship between two variables to see if they are related and how strong that relationship is. 3. User-friendly interface. SPSS has a graphical user interface, making it accessible for users who may not be familiar with programming. Users can perform complex analyses with simple clicks rather than writing code. 4. Output and visualization. After performing analyses, SPSS generates output in the form of tables and charts. These visualizations help present the findings clearly and effectively. Importance of SPSS. Widely used tool. SPSS is widely used in academic institutions, research organizations, and businesses for statistical analysis, making it a valuable skill for students and professionals. Enhances research. By using SPSS, researchers can ensure that their data analysis is accurate, reliable, and comprehensive, contributing to better informed conclusions and decisions. Time saving. The software automates many calculations and processes, allowing researchers to focus on interpreting results instead of manually performing statistical computations. Examples of using SPSS. 1. Conducting a survey. Imagine a researcher conducts a survey to understand students' study habits. After collecting responses, they input the data into SPSS to analyze patterns, such as whether there is a significant difference in study habits between different age groups. 2. Testing hypotheses. A psychologist wants to test a hypothesis that exercise improves mood. They collect data from participants before and after a workout program. Using SPSS, they can run a t-test to see if changes in mood scores are statistically significant. 3. Analyzing relationships. A marketing analyst surveys consumers about their brand preferences and income levels. They can use SPSS to perform a correlation analysis to determine if there is a relationship between income and brand preference, helping them target marketing efforts more effectively. Important details. 1. Versions and compatibility. SPSS is available in several versions, including desktop software and a cloud-based option. Check the compatibility of your device and the version you plan to use. 2. Learning resources. There are many resources available for learning SPSS, including online tutorials, textbooks, and university courses. Getting familiar with SPSS software can enhance your quantitative research skills. 3. Commonly used tools in SPSS. Data view, where you enter and edit data. Variable view, where you define variables, such as their names, types, and labels. Analyze menu, where you can select different statistical tests and analyses. Output viewer displays the results of your analyses, including charts, tables, and statistics. Conclusion. SPSS is a powerful and user-friendly tool for statistical analysis, commonly used in various fields, especially social sciences. Understanding how to use SPSS for data management, statistical analysis, and visualization will benefit your research skills and is essential for your preparation for the CPC exam. By mastering SPSS, you can analyze data effectively and draw meaningful conclusions from your research. Assessment. Summative assessment. Sure, let's explore the concept of summative assessment. This is an important topic in education that helps evaluate student learning and understanding. We'll break it down into key concepts, important details, and examples to make everything easy to understand. What is summative assessment? Summative assessment is a type of evaluation used to measure student learning at the end of an instructional period. Unlike formative assessments, which are conducted throughout the learning process to provide feedback and improve learning, summative assessments judge how much students have learned and whether they have met the learning objectives. Key concepts. 1. Purpose. The main purpose of summative assessments is to evaluate student learning and determine if they have achieved specific learning outcomes. These assessments provide a way to measure the effectiveness of teaching and student understanding of the material. 2. Timing. Summative assessments are usually conducted at the end of a unit, semester, or course. They can take various forms and often cover a wide range of material that has been taught over a specific period. 3. Types. Summative assessments can take many forms, including final exams, comprehensive tests given at the end of a course to assess overall understanding. Standardized tests, exams designed to measure student performance on a broader scale, often used for accountability. Projects or portfolios, major assignments that require students to demonstrate their learning through a collection of work or a detailed project. Research papers, in-depth assignments that require students to investigate a topic and present their findings. Importance of summative assessment. Measuring learning outcomes, summative assessments provide a clear indication of what students have learned, which helps educators gauge the effectiveness of their teaching methods. Feedback for improvement. While summative assessments focus on grading, they can also provide useful feedback for future instruction by identifying areas where students may struggle. Accountability. These assessments are often used to hold students, teachers, and schools accountable for educational outcomes. Examples of summative assessment. 1. Final exam. At the end of a high school algebra course, students take a final exam that covers all the topics learned throughout the year. The results help determine their overall understanding of algebra and their final grade in the class. 2. Standardized testing. In many countries, students take standardized tests like the SAT or ACT at the end of high school. These tests assess knowledge in subjects like math, reading, and writing and are used for college admissions. 3. Capstone project. In a high school science class, students may work on a capstone project in which they research a scientific topic of interest. At the end of the term, they present their findings through a report and an oral presentation, showcasing their understanding of key concepts. Important details. 1. Grading. Summative assessments often contribute significantly to a student's final grade. They are usually graded on a scale that reflects the level of understanding demonstrated. 2. Alignment with objectives. Effective summative assessments are aligned with specific learning objectives or standards. This means they measure what students were expected to learn during the course or unit. 3. Limitations. One limitation of summative assessments is that they may not fully capture student learning, as they focus on a single point in time. Additionally, students may experience test anxiety, which can affect their performance. Conclusion. Summative assessment is a crucial aspect of education that measures student learning at the end of a course or instructional period. It helps educators evaluate the effectiveness of their teaching and provides valuable information about student understanding. By understanding summative assessments, students can better prepare for these assessments and grasp their importance in the learning process. This knowledge will be beneficial for your studies and your preparation for the CPC exam. Formative assessment. Sure, let's explore the concept of formative assessment. Understanding formative assessment is important in education as it helps improve student learning and teaching effectiveness. We'll break down the key concepts, important details, and provide examples to make everything clear. What is formative assessment? Formative assessment is a type of evaluation used to monitor student learning progress and understanding during the learning process. Unlike summative assessments, which measure learning at the end of a unit or course, formative assessments are conducted throughout the instructional period to provide feedback for both students and teachers. Key concepts. 1. Purpose. The main purpose of formative assessment is to gather information about student learning and identify areas where students need support. It helps teachers adjust their teaching methods based on student performance and understanding. 2. Timing. Formative assessments occur at various points during a lesson or unit. They can be used frequently to check for understanding and to provide ongoing feedback. 3. Types. Formative assessments can take many forms, including quizzes, short tests that evaluate students' understanding of recently covered material. Class discussions, conversations where students share their thoughts, allowing the teacher to gauge comprehension. Observations. Teachers watch students as they work on tasks to see how well they apply their knowledge and skills. Exit tickets, short prompts or questions given at the end of a class to assess what students learned that day. Peer reviews. Students review each other's work and provide feedback, which helps deepen their understanding. Importance of formative assessment. Continuous feedback. Formative assessments provide ongoing feedback to students, helping them understand what they know and where they need to improve. Adjusting instruction. Teachers can adjust their teaching strategies based on the information gathered from formative assessments. If many students struggle with a topic, the teacher might revisit it or try different instructional methods. Encouraging learning. Formative assessments can promote a growth mindset by helping students see their progress and understand that learning is an ongoing process. Examples of formative assessment. 1. Weekly quizzes. A teacher gives a short quiz every Friday covering the material learned that week. Based on quiz results, the teacher can identify which concepts students find challenging and go over them in the following week. 2. Think, pair, share. During a class discussion, the teacher asks students to think about a question individually, then pair up with a partner to discuss their thoughts before sharing them with the whole class. This allows the teacher to assess student understanding in real time. 3. Exit tickets. At the end of a lesson, a teacher asks students to write down one thing they learned and one question they still have. This feedback helps the teacher know what concepts were understood and what needs further clarification. 4. Interactive polls. A teacher uses an online polling tool to ask students questions during a lesson. The responses show how well students grasp the material, allowing the teacher to address any misunderstandings immediately. Important details. 1. Feedback quality. The effectiveness of formative assessment depends on the quality of feedback provided. Feedback should be constructive, specific, and focused on improvement to help students learn and grow. 2. Low stakes. Formative assessments are typically low stakes, meaning they do not heavily impact a student's final grade. This encourages students to engage in the learning process without the pressure of high-stakes testing. 3. Student involvement. Formative assessments encourage student involvement and self-reflection. Students are encouraged to assess their own learning and take responsibility for their progress. Conclusion. Formative assessment is a crucial part of the educational process that helps monitor student progress and improve learning. By providing ongoing feedback, adjusting instruction based on student needs, and encouraging active participation, formative assessments play an essential role in helping students succeed. Understanding formative assessment will be valuable in your studies and your preparation for the CPC exam, as it highlights effective teaching and learning practices.